Let's take a look at an automatic heating valve actuator, and this one's interesting for a couple of reasons. One of the most interesting reasons is the scary bit in the instructions where it says, "Warning, never open the actuator body casing even in case of failure, as this could cause injury. Challenge accepted. We will be opening it. We'll be taking a look inside to see why it's got that scary warning." I'm thinking big, powerful spring. So the concept behind this is that it is designed to actuate the valves either on a manifold for underfloor heating, or in a case of a radiator, it replaces the standard thermally actuated valve, the thermostatic valve, and it then gives electrical control over it. And with no controller on it, those valves have a little plunger that sticks up, and it would normally be open, but if you press that plunger down, it closes the valve. So what happens when you screw this on is initially, this little red thing here, this little red plunger actuator, it pushes that down, that shuts the valve off. But when you apply power to this, that gradually moves back. And note that this is not a solenoid. It doesn't just go chunk and slip in. It actually takes a while. I shall show you that. It's also interesting to note that this is clearly a thermal actuator internally with a PTC self-regulating resistor, because although it says 2.5 watts here at 230 volts AC, although it says that, it starts off at about 50 watts. So you may just see that initially in the display here, but when I power it up, it will have actually actuated. It's already gone down to 14 watts, but that will gradually fall lower and lower as it heats up. And as you can see, the plunger in here has done nothing. And in reality, it's going to take about at least a minute before it even starts visibly moving. And there's a little shell around here that gradually moves back to show that's operating. And the reason for that, I think, is that it possibly uses a wax motor. We shall discuss that when we actually get inside this. But in the meantime, I'm just going to pause momentarily to let this retract so you can see just how far it goes in. I shall zoom down. That's the best bet as well, so you can actually see that there's not much movement in there. It's not even budged yet. That thing is still staying put. It's down to about 8.4 watts and gradually falling as it heats up inside. But it's still no movement. That's not moved back yet. It will take about a minute. So tell you what, I'm going to pause and then I'll come back to show you this once this has actually moved out of its closed position and gradually crept back to its open position, and then I'll tell you how long it took. A couple of minutes later, you can see it's gradually creeping back. It's definitely not something you want instant control over water with, and you can see the little flag here is gradually creeping up too, but it's so slow that it's almost imperceivably slow. If you sat here and watched it for a while, you'd see it, but no, it's not really moving very fast. So I shall pause again and we'll wait to see how far it moves in. Okay, I think that's about as much as we're going to get. It's not an awful lot of movement. The power has dropped down to about 2.7 watts, and it will continue to fall a little bit. It will yo-yo up and down. It depends on the ambient temperature, but it's close to its 2.5 watt rating. And the plunger has moved. They specify that it will move typically about 3.5 millimeters, and all that's required for the actual valve to be operated is 2.5 millimeters. That equates to about 1/8 of an inch. So it's a very tiny amount of movement. So now, before I take this to bits, I'm going to let it cool and reset, and I'll time how long it takes. I'll get a stopwatch set up here on my phone, and I'll time how long it takes to cool down and reset and tell you how long that took, and then we'll take it to bits and see what's inside. 1 moment, please. That's it cooled down and returned to its default position, and that took about 5 minutes to actually return to that. It's not a fast thing, it's very slow and subtle, which is good, I suppose, in a way, because it means there won't be any clicking or clacking or hissing of water. It will just be a very gradual change. Let's zoom down on this and then get a screwdriver and open this and see what is this scary thing inside that they recommend against opening for. So there are 3 screws under here. Oh, that's a long screw. Wasn't expecting the screw to be quite long. I'm going to hold this tightly as I undo this, just in case it is super high power spring loaded. And after this, there should just be 1 screw. Is this going to be wanting to bulge out of its own accord? It's not bulging out yet. Maybe it'll open with a loud bang and snap my fingers in the process. Hopefully not. Those screws are shorter. Oh, what's it going to reveal? It's going to reveal that it's got some sort of catch here. So let's use this spudger to spudge while aiming it away from my face, just in case there is some hugely powerful spring. Ooh. Oh yes, there is a powerful spring, and it does want to open very quickly. It's quite a chunky spring. I mean, by my standards, it's a fully compressible spring, but here we go. So what we got? We've got that plastic shell. We have this device here, which is, I presume that is a wax motor. And there, oh, the whole thing's effectively live. It's connected to neutral. We've got two connections. This is still quite hot. There is the heater. This is a PTC heater. It's basically a piece of ceramic material that's electrically conductive, and it's got a metallized face on this side, metallized face on the other side, which is bonded onto this thing. It's actually physically glued on or soldered on. And this is the one that heats it up but changes its resistance. So it starts off with a low resistance, but as it gets hotter, its resistance increases until it self-regulates. I kind of want to open this now. I kind of want to actuate it, because we've got this outer connection, plus we've got the connection at the back here. And this is effectively pushing this whole spring-loaded shell up, and that it's got a little O-ring there to stop moisture getting in. It did say that the IP rating is higher when it's got the cover pointing down like that than when it's pointing up like this. It's got a lower ingress rating. But here is the whole assembly that must go up and down, so I would guess that that's being pushed up by this plunger here. Right, tell you what, I think I'm going to have to put this back in and electrically actuate it, and we'll see what extends out. I get the feeling this whole brass assembly extends out. Right, I'm going to have to work out a way to do this. I think a spring-loaded clamp or luck, and then just applying power. Right, give me one moment. I'm going to try and make this thing extend. It is hot. I have unplugged it. How hot is it? It's very hot. The little silver bit at the end, I thought that was ball bearings shoved down the end, but that is the cylinder that's actually pushing out. That's the ram inside because this is effectively, it works like a little hydraulic ram, electrically actuated. When it's heated up, it's filled with wax. And as the wax expands inside, it pushes the cylinder out. That is very, very hot. That is not surprising. It is, after all, thermally actuated. Right, tell you what, I've gripped that in there. Can this pull out? Oh, it can pull out quite a bit. Oh, it can be pushed and pulled. That is pulling a little vacuum. Can I pull it all the way? Oh, I have. That's not a good idea. Let's take a look down the end of it. I can see stuff. Is that moist stuff? I'm about to wreck this, haven't I? It's not. That is not budging. That's not the wax itself. There is a little layer in there. There's a little separator in there that is separating that. So to explain what this is what's called a wax motor. And when you think of motor, you think of rotation. But in reality, an electric motor is any device that converts electricity to movement. And one of the places you'll find these wax motors is in American washing machines. It's used as the sort of door interlock. So what actually happens here, the method of operation, it's cooling down now, that's okay. It's still quite hot, but it's not too bad. Method of operation here, the self-regulating heater on the end heats the wax expands, and it pushes this pin out. When it pushes the pin out, it pushes this against this spring, and that means that the little plunger there that activates the valve pushes up. It's quite a forceful spring. That's the bit they were warning about, and that opens the valve. When the power's turned off, the spring then pushes this little wax plunger back in, and it shows that, you know, the expansion of the wax, that's quite a significant force that it's applying, and that with the power off, that gradually the spring gradually returns down, and this pushes and shuts the valve again. So that was quite interesting, actually. Very simple arrangement here. We've got the... I'll just put the hoppy out the way at the moment. I was using it as the means to connect. We've got the incoming cable. We've got the outer connection, the neutral here, that connects onto the body of this. And then the bottom, the live, just as a couple of little contacts, spring contacts that touch against the bottom of this disc. What's the most likely failure here? Usually the discs crack or something like that and then get less efficient, or they arc where it's a very simple electrical contact onto the back of that. I'm not sure about splunging and gooing the wax out everywhere. I suppose that's feasible, because this will have a little seal in it, but I would expect it's rated for quite a lot of operations. But there we go. That's about all there is to it. There's not an awful lot, is there? It's a very simple system. Basically speaking, this little piston in the end pushing this red plastic cover-up that acts as the flag and the actuator against this very powerful spring. And then when it cools down again, the whole lot returns to normal. Very, very simple. So that's how these electrically actuated valve actuators work. The ones with the simple thermal actuation. Very slow, but I suppose, in this application it doesn't have to be fast, and you certainly don't want loud clicking noises. So very neat. Well worth taking apart.